Hi guys, Extreme Woodworker here. I am in the middle of an end table build, and I thought I'd share with you a tip on how I tapered the legs of this table without using a jig. And let me get the camera rearranged. I'll show you some of the setup and then demonstrate how I actually tapered the legs. So stand by. Okay, tapering these legs without a jig can either be done on the jointer or a spindle molder. I'm going to use a spindle molder because the cut depth on my jointer will not cut the depth I require on the first pass. So I'll be using that. Your jointer may. I actually think the jointer would be safer than the shaper, but I'll show you the technique nevertheless. The cut process for tapering the legs is a two-step process. The taper length I'm looking for over the length is 460 millimeters long by 20 millimeters in. To make the setup, I'm going to be using a straight cutter head on the shaper, and I'll set a stop block up. I'll show you how I did that. And I'll go half the length of the taper. I'll set a stop block up so that I can get a consistent stopping point on every leg and on both sides of the leg. So I'll go half the distance, 460, half of that's 230. And then on the depth, I'll offset my fences, or if you're using a joiner, your infeed table. I'm looking at 20 millimeters total depth in, so my first cut will be half that distance, which will be 10 millimeters. I do want to make a note on this, is for safety purposes, if you are using a shaper, make sure that you are using a cutter head that is suitable for manual feeding, because you can quickly get into trouble if you don't do that. So let me get rearranged here. Once I get this first cut made, then I'm going to go make the second cut, and I will take these two contact points and I will put them against, I'll flip the piece in for in, make the two contact points the entrance of the cut that I made previously and the exit point, and then I'll feed this into the shaper. I will not change the fences, or if you're using a joiner, you don't need to change the infeed table setting. And then we'll taper, and it'll be a very heavy cut, so make it slow and be safe. Okay, we're at the shaper now. I'll show you my setup. Guard off so I can see what I'm doing. I've got the straight cutter mounted. The infeed fence is offset from the outfeed fence by 10 millimeters. So I can barely get my pinky back in there. And once that offset is established, I'll adjust my fence gaps and then move the fence in and out. For the outfeed fence, you want it set up just like you would a joiner, such that the knife just grazes the edge of the workpiece on the outfeed side. So that sets the offset for the depth of cut. Now what I want to do is set the stop block up. And to adjust the stop block, remember that I want the knife, as it exits the piece that I'm tapering, I want to set that distance at 230 millimeters from where the end is. So what I'll do is I'll position the knife where it just exits the workpiece. I'll take my rule and I'll position my stop block, then clamp it to the fence. Once that's done, I can put my guard back in place, and I'll get set up and do this on the initial cut. Once that's done, the initial cuts are made on all my work pieces. I'll go back and I'll remove the stop block, take a push block. This one has it's a shop-made version, has a ledge, and it's tall enough to where I keep my hands well away from the opening in the shaper fence. And I'll show you how I use this to safely make this operation. Again, it's best to go slow and easy. This is a very heavy cut we're making, and just for personal safety reasons, make sure you do it slow, make sure you use the right safety equipment, hearing protection, eye protection. So here's how I do the cuts. Now the stop block is removed, and we're ready to do the second part of the leg tapering operation. Okay, and that's how I taper legs. If you have any questions or comments, please post them on my YouTube channel, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks for watching.